Hello, good afternoon, evening, morning, whatever time it is. It's afternoon right now. Firstly, I'd like to say welcome to all the new members that have joined in the last, 4 days since we've recently been posting in other groups about who we are, what we do. There are similar groups on Facebook and on the internet offering you solutions and services. Some of them are government funded and some of them are independent, like ourselves. And I just wanted to go into some of them and some that I manage, activist groups, freedom groups, and I posted a topic of discussion that's about the Cestui Que Vie Act, 1966. And I also, once I wrote that post, I put a post to the legislation on the .gov UK website of where this legislation is still in force from 1666. This seems to have sparked and invoked quite a lot of interest and also at the same time some confusion with people messaging me, asking me to explain and divulge more about this and where has it come from and why haven't they been told about it, why has it just come to light recently. And I've tried to explain that in the initial write-up and the post. If you look at the post itself without me having to go through and waste the minutes here explaining it all, we were pronounced dead during the Great Fire of London in the year 1666 AD. Basically, after the age of 7, the government will claim the corporation as under Admiralty law under salvage. So that doesn't mean anything to you, the person, but it does also mean something to you, the person, but also you, the man. Because the man or the woman is not the person. So it's the same thing. Your birth certificate is your bond, and it is also, you are kind of classed as a corporation because you are an asset to the Crown State. So you're classed as, when the age of 18 comes, as eligible to work with a national insurance number, which is your payee reference number, if you like. You think of it that way. When you start working, your tax and NI and any other funds that you pay to the government go, as you know, the tax goes to the Crown, the Queen. She collects every so much pence and every pound earned from let me get it right, from the corporation, the people, which is your national insurance number, birth certificate, driving licence, passport, anything that's printed with your name in capitals on it, any account you may have, things like this, finance, ID, paperwork that's to do with money and government. That's all registration, which means submitted to the Crown, and that means that that's all your 2D legal fiction, your corporation, your straw man. There's many different names, which is what's confusing you. So they're all the same thing. You're a dead person, and you are the man or the woman. You are the one that's governable by common law. So you've passed the age of 7 and you found this information out. There was a contract made when you was a baby and a birth certificate issued, and your mum and dad informing the state and registering you. Look at what register means in the legalese terms and what it looks at, what it is in a dictionary compared to two. You've been registered, and so as an adult you can now try to rescind any contracts and your position as a corporation, and you can also reclaim the entitlement, your birthright, to the bond, which is the next step which people are asking about. How do we get hold of the bond? How do we tell the establishment, the Law Society, the Prime Minister, the government, the council, the police, all these various bodies, how do we now get hold of the stop becoming the beneficiary? As an employee of the estate, you are the beneficiary, and somebody is the trustee and somebody is the executor. I'm going to let you do a bit of work yourselves on this and get what comes out in the comments. I'm not going to give you all the answers because it is a learning and study group, so we'll leave some bits blank. So you're wanting to know then, questions are flying about because of obviously the driving licence one which I did, and I explained about that. That had a lot of similar questions about your driving licence and your passport and your ID and things like that. So if you do write to the Prime Minister, and you maybe write to the Queen, and you maybe write to other government bodies, but those are the main ones at first, you will announce that, I'm going to get this fly. Gotcha. Sorry, I killed an animal. Filming. You will get entitlement to and you'll become the executor of your trust fund, the Cestui Que Vie Trust fund. You were in the contracts. There wasn't given full disclosure at the time. You wasn't old enough to contest it. You was a baby. There's various ways we can do this, but this will come later on. We will set out a plan. I need to talk to other people in this group, and if you look at the files what we've uploaded, there's a lot for you to be going on with and reading, and we can discuss and modify if need be. Yeah, but we'll set out a plan. The next step is to find out people. If we do it en masse, then it's going to be noticed more as well. I think that if we all decide of a intended course of action, because that's another thing, this group doesn't have a specific direction. We are here and we are open for dialogue, discussion, and comparing and contrasting anybody that's been to court and faced the black robes and taken a position of the sovereign man or woman and rebutted and got no further action, the court case dismissed, shut down. We like to hear about these stories. We are aware of some that are happening in our group at the minute. We are aware of how some people are taking the advice and they're going to see a solicitor. Now let me tell you this, if you turn up to a solicitor's and ask for a 3-hour consultation and you start telling them some of the things of which we're discussing, or you start mentioning about your claim of right and your inherent constitutional birthrights and things like this, they won't like it. They're in the Law Society, they're in a big gang and we're not in it, and they're paid to do a job, and they're maybe privy to this information and knowledgeable of how we are being kept in the dark and being treated like idiots. But one of the first maxims in law is that if man doesn't know he has power, then man has no power, which means, again, ignorance is no defense. It's an evil game of which we are playing. It's almost like dancing with the devil. You put one foot wrong and they've got you in the net, and you're going to be liable and accountable, and they've got jurisdiction and contracts are made. So, yeah, going back to see a solicitor, he will laugh at this, he will squirm, they will be like one of two ways. What the hell, you're an idiot, where do you think you're going with this? Who's give you this, where did you get it from? I've heard of this free man stuff before. Oh. Or they will be like, this is amazing, this is really good. I'm not sure, that because they don't get taught this at university when they're studying to be a lawyer or going through the graduate degree. They don't teach them. The establishment, which is owned by the elite, don't teach the workers, us, the information of which we need to break free and regain our dominion and control and things like that. So the solicitors are often amazed by it, and some of them know about it because they've got barrister friends and they've got friends on the Queen's Council, or they've been down the Queen's Bench, or they've been to some tribunal, whatever. They've got a lot of experience, and they'll say, you know what I mean, this is gold, basically. This is what the law, foundation of law, is based on. And I've also mentioned that common law, constitutional inherent inalienable rights, and some people have commented saying that common law is also, and constitutional rights are also laws written by man, and so therefore we shouldn't follow them. But every society needs a foundation, a fabric in its society needs like the building blocks, the mainframe of which to operate. And as a child, we all know certain things are wrong, because our parents teach us this. This is the law. To us as children, our law is our parents. And when we are growing up, we then go into the real world and find out, how it runs. So your parents bringing you up teach you, do not hit, do not steal, do not be bad, do not, they teach you many things. But the 4 basic things are, do not hurt, harm, injure, or cause loss, or steal. That's it. Basic things. So if you look in religion now, these are called maxims of law. I just mentioned one about if man doesn't know he has power, then man has no power, which means in court, if they know they can run circles round you, take you to the fucking cleaners, mate, good and proper, and know that what they're doing, you can say stuff and stop it, but you don't know to say that, so they're not going to tell you. So what more can I say? That's the game they're running. These are the people we're dealing with. So you want me to have compassion, mercy, and follow these law society guidelines and rules, and not step out of the square and be, you know, like everybody else and pay the tax, council tax, and pay the PCNs? Then no, we will ask questions. We will make conditional offer of payments upon proof of the following. And if they can't supply it, then they create permanent estoppel because they've ignored the facts we've asked for, they haven't supplied it, and they choose to carry on. It's unbelievable, it really is. So maxims of law are quite crazy, they're quite deep, but maxims of law also, I believe, if you think of all the religions in the world, going back to the comments about common law and it being written by man, and obviously then, oh, because man's written it, it must be wrong. In the Christian faith, in the Buddhist faith, in the Indian's faith, in the Muslim faith, in most and all of the religions, you know that if you've done your research, they're pretty similar. And in all of them, it says, do not cause harm, injury, loss, or steal. And there's more in the Ten Commandments, example 1. You know, in the Buddhist faith, there's lessons and teachings from Buddha. In the Vedic faith, in the Hindu faith, you know, in the Jewish faith, not in the Talmud, in the Torah, obviously, those of you that know that. So yeah, and these are in the religion. So these are the foundations for the society rules. So they are the common law. That's it. That's what it is. It's not that man's written it, so it must be disrespected. Obviously, these books, because the law system, the courts are based on Roman type established contracts, if you look, and they're run as a religious sect as well. There's, you know, you swear on the Bible for an instance, and it will be the Crown's Bible, and so I hope that explains a few things, what the group's about. A big hello to the members. Look, 11 minutes. I wanted to do a 10-minute quick video, tell you what's happening, where we're going, what direction we're in, why we've chosen that direction. I think we should do this en masse as a group. 50, 60, 100 of us. What is the 500 and something now? 50 odd in this group. So anybody that wants to reclaim their dominion and rescind contracts and become an entirely, like for instance, do you know at an airport, once you've done this, when you go to the airport, you go through a different door. You have a passport, but your passport is for a live human man or woman, not the dead corporation that they classify you as now, which you are attached to via a secret language, which they don't tell you. So you do all that and you get out of it. You know, you rescind it all and you become, you reclaim your dominion and become the executor of your estate. And then when you go on holiday, you've got a different passport and it's for a person that's alive. They show you to a different door. You don't go with the cattle and you don't have to go through all that rubbish. You just go through a door, you show them your stuff and you get on the plane. A bit like diplomatic immunity. So people that then argue, well, it's the law of the country and it's the law of the land. How come the police can drive through red lights? How come people can get like diplomatic immunity and do whatever they want and not be touched? It's not a law of the land. It's a law of how you want the law to be applied to you and when you deem it. So if you don't know about it, you're not going to be able to do it. And that's the ignorance of which we live in. That's their bliss because we don't know, we can't say. And they're laughing at us all the time. So the laughing will stop and the money flow will stop. We will clog up the systems. We will cause them administrative paperwork. We will start reclaiming our dominions and they will sit up and they will listen. And they will think we need to change the tactics again, of which we need to be ready for that. But that's in the future. So I have explained everything of which I needed to in one fell swoop, in one take. So I'm happy with that. I have admins and people in the group that will help you because the issues are that complex. Sometimes it might take 2 hours to discuss and sort out and resolve an issue which we are not in agreement with, which is what we're here for, study and learning. But we are also activists of a peaceful and friendly composition. There's no point doing violence, there's no point hating people, there's no point segregating people. We're all in the same boat, we've all got blood in our bodies. It don't matter, you know, anything else other than we're humans, we're on the same ball in space, and we need to sort this out, join together, stand up and stop. People are, like I mentioned in my post earlier, last thing, people I know are becoming drinking a lot, becoming addicted and feeling the need to drink every day. They're feeling the need to, the BBC Radio 1 today, as I'm driving home, 1 out of 3 people has not had medication for mental health. 2 out of 3 people are suffering or have suffered or taking medication for depression, anxiety and suicidal thoughts. And I know why that is, because people haven't done anything else to do than work, worry, sleep, go to the food bank, get credit cards, cash checks in, pay them off with interest, start selling the stuff, get people knocking at the door saying that they've got with the police there, intimidating them, and bullies and gangsters in their lives. And it's like, it's no wonder. The fix isn't to get medication. The fix isn't to go sick and have time off work. As hard as it is to stay strong, I'm a manager at a place, I can't tell you because it's private and data protection, but I see on a daily basis how this affects the everyday person, and it makes me sick. And I have got a heart, and I would like to try to help people for free, and there's people in here with very good knowledge that will help you for free. I've made some amazing contacts of late that are just so amazing that we'll be able to put their input in and dialogue, and I'm putting links into the websites, the videos, the YouTube pages. And Chrissy Morris, he's a legend. The videos I've put up of him, I've just recently linked up with his sister. She's coming here. They've also linked up with a few interesting lawful people which will remain to be not anonymous, but are in our group and have got excellent background information of which to give. The other videos that I've put in with regards to Carl Lentz and the documents that I've uploaded are all there for you to use. So just scroll down, press the buttons at the top, look at the files, maybe go on with your laptop and download all the Word documents I've put up for you. The Criminal Justice Act, pre-formatted letters, council tax letters that we're using at the minute. We haven't got a successful council tax letter that's rebutted the claim, for us to pay, but once we get one, we'll tell you and put it up. The video that I posted of banter club or lads banter link with the guy that's it's on the phone for the council tax helpline, and he's asking if he doesn't pay his council tax, what will happen, and they tell him, and that is an amazing video. That is gold. If anybody knows this lad, what his real name is, if he's on Facebook, he's doing exactly the same thing as what we're doing. And the next mission or aim of the group is to link up different types of Facebook groups that are in different parts of the country but are on the same wavelength as us. And so we've got a satellite organisation of free, knowledgeable, verified union of lawful advice. And if people need us to go to houses, if bailiffs are coming, part of the bailiff removal team is that we get the friends we've got cars to make arrangements. We'll pick people up along the way. We'll go to the houses of where the repossession orders and warrants have been issued, and we stand there and we peacefully stop people from entering on private property. We tell them about trespass, we tell them about the rights, we have a look at the warrant, we identify the paperwork, we'll ring up the courts and check to see if there is actually a warrant issued, and don't worry, it's no problem. There's a lot of people in this group spread far and wide in England. So I'm in the middle of England, in the East Midlands, which is the centre. So I'm in the main hub, and I want to link up the north, south, east, and west. And then obviously, depending on where people are, it's easier to arrange people to get there. So yeah, that's something to be considered for the future. I'm babbling. I'm going to get off. Lots to do, and yes, peace, love, and light. And thank you all for your posts, your shares, your comments, your input, your dialogue, your documents, and recommend us to people. We're closed group, so we don't just get randoms in. We like to look and check first, but yeah, we are open to new members. We need to grow, we need to get strong, and we need to no, that's swearing. I'll keep it clean. Peace, love, and light.